Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here and welcome back to Forza Horizon 4 for a couple of things. One, a build overview and tune overview of this new Mustang GT in drag trim. Well, not necessarily drag trim, but I say drag trim because I built it that way. And another thing is I'm going to teach you guys a couple of things. I'm going to teach you guys how to brake boost, and if you don't already know how to do a boosted launch, I'm going to teach you guys how to do that as well. I did another video on the boosted launch, so the boosted launch isn't really going to be the main part of this video. Brake boosting is going to be a little bit more in-depth, and then of course the build and setup of this car. So if you don't know how everything works in terms of the boosted launch, basically all a boosted launch is I don't know where they are right now, but all a boosted launch is you hold the e-brake and hit the gas. Your RPMs will drop down to 2,000 RPMs, and then you'll quickly hold the clutch and then tap the e-brake. Your car will freeze at a certain RPM, and then you let it go, and boom! Spun a little bit because it started to rain, but as you can see, in the dry, we would have gotten out of the hole with no wheel spin whatsoever and just pulled away with the turbos already spooled up because this is a twin-turbo car. Now, in order to actually know what you're doing with brake boosting, you need to have telemetry on. So as far as turning telemetry on, all you have to do, I'm getting ahead of myself here, is go to Settings, and then you go to HUD and Gameplay, and then all the way down at the bottom, you will see not what we're looking for, actually. Let's see, where are we looking? That's not what we're looking for. Control settings? Yes, okay. So, now default layout 1 is going to have a few different options. So you can switch ANA, telemetry, and TTS. What we are wanting to do is switch ANA over to telemetry. So basically, telemetry is going to be down on the D-pad, and what telemetry will show you is that screen that everybody asks me about that looks like this, which displays a detailed view of your gear, your RPM, oh my god, your gear, your RPM, your power, your torque, your speed, your steering inputs, your throttle input percentage, brake input percentage, clutch input percentage, e-brake input percentage. Every single thing is here. Now, the main thing we're going to be focusing on is the boost. So now, if we're rolling along, say at about 40 miles an hour, and we just floor it, takes a second for it to hit that 19 pounds of boost, which this car is maxing out at. However, if you're trying to roll race somebody and you want to get the if you want to get the jump on them when that third honk hits, all you have to do is basically apply the brakes, maintain pressure on the throttle, make sure you keep your speed, maintain pressure on the throttle, and just hold the car back with the brakes. Keep that boost right there at 19 PSI. Let's say we were doing a 50 roll. And then on that third honk, you would kind of hold the car at 50 miles an hour, give or take. And on that third honk, you would just let go of the brake, floor the throttle, and you would already be at peak boost, basically ready to just go with no turbo lag and pretty much leave just like an NA car or a supercharged car would. So that's an overview of brake boosting and how you can actually use it to your advantage within the telemetry system. So let's go over the build and the setup on this particular car. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop by my house, or one of my houses, which is Fairlawn Manor, which is up here. And I'm going to go over the full build with you guys. Now, to kind of set up the idea of what this build is, effectively it is a fully maxed out stock engine, which is the Coyote 5.0 with twin turbos strapped to it. I'm going to go through it anyway so you guys can see exactly what I did for the suspension, the wheel setup, the tires, all that stuff. Now, the tune is a little bit different because I was kind of working with this car a little bit to try to get it to squat down a little bit more off the line, and I kind of got it to do it. Didn't get it all the way there, but I kind of got it where I wanted it. And also, this is a first-gear launch car. A lot of my cars are second-gear launch cars just because I feel like it works better for the given final drive I want to run. But this is a first-gear launch car. As you can see, my rear tire pressure isn't quite at the minimum. It's down to 16 PSI. You can go to 15 PSI if you desire, but I don't really see that much of a difference between 15 and 16. Gearing-wise, we're running a 259 final drive with a 275 first and a 212 second. Now, that change from first to second is really short, so you can actually just really stay in it. Camber is almost all dialed out in the front, and it is completely dialed out in the rear because we want to get that entire contact patch onto the ground as cleanly as possible. Anti-roll bars are completely soft, and the springs are really soft in the back, and the ride height is a little weird. The ride height's a little wonky. The reason why the ride height's a little strange is because I was trying to play around with it and try to get the car to squat more, which you can do, but it kind of throws a couple other things off. Rebound stiffness is 3.8 in the rear, and and bump is also 3.8 in the rear. It makes the car set down really easily, and the diff is 100% locked to acceleration. Now, build-wise on this car, we are working with pretty much, like I said, a fully maxed out engine, but it hasn't been swapped. It's the Coyote 5.0. It hasn't been swapped, and as you can see, everything that we can possibly put to race is put to race. I'm not going to go over the entire setup for you, because basically, and as you can see, the turbo stuff here, that is race as well, and of course, a race flywheel. But all you need to do to replicate this build, boom, stock Coyote 5.0, max everything out, throw the turbos at it, and that's this exact build. Now, brakes-wise and suspension, we are on a race brake setup, obviously race suspension setup, obviously race roll bars. Race weight reduction, no cage. That's another important thing, no cage in this car because I don't want the extra weight. Drivetrain is fully built, and then the wheel and tire setup, just in case you're wondering what these wheels are or you don't know, these are... If I can get back to them, these are the Weld Racing Alumistar beadlocks, and you can find them in the specialized rim category. They are also the standard size that comes on this car, and I wish I could make the rears smaller. Please, Turn 10 and Playground, please make that a thing for drag cars. We would love it. Stock body, in terms of aero and appearance and conversion, obviously the only thing we did in there is convert it from naturally aspirated to forced induction. So let's go and head back to the highway. Hopefully it's not raining, and we're going to do a little bit more launch tuning, and I'm going to show you guys what this car can actually do in terms of getting off the line. So we're going to probably cruise it back to the... Hey, what's up, dude? Probably going to cruise it back to the highway. That is if I'm going the right direction, which I kind of am. But you know what? We're all the way up here, and I prefer to hang out down here. This is where I do a lot of my launch testing. My cars are tuned and set up for the highway, so it just makes a lot more sense to tune them on the highway, set them up for the highway, and just really focus on trying to get that maximum launch that I can on the highway. So, and also, this car still retains that top speed because it's got an 8-speed gearbox. So, or is this the 10-speed? Is this got some crazy automatic gearbox in it? I mean, obviously, we're using manual with clutch, but this is, well, okay. The stock one would have this crazy, like, 8-speed automatic or something. We have the 6-speed race gearbox, but the thing about the 6-speed race gearbox is if you set it up properly, you can still do crazy top speeds. I mean, this thing will go, like, 245 miles an hour, which is plenty fast for a drag car unless you're doing, like, top speed runs. So, let's do a little bit of a launch test. Now that it's dry out, and I can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. This is, like, just over 5,000 RPM, first gear, and go! Little bit of spinning. Okay, so we don't want to launch quite that high. Let's try a little bit lower. That worked a little bit better, but it wasn't quite perfect. So this is where, obviously, you really start to get into the fine-tuning of the launch, because there is a point to which, you know, there's a point that you get to where you're trying to fight between it bogging and it's spinning, and the gear ratio it's at right now, it works for that, but at the same time you have to get the launch just right. So let's see what we're boosting at. So that's 4,500 RPM, full boosted launch. That's 19 pounds of boost, and go. So it spins if you do that. Okay, so again, 4,500 RPM, and go. It's still just a little bit sloppy. Just a little bit sloppy. What's weird is not too long ago, it was hooking at the same RPM. Oh, crap. That's what happens when you mess up your launch control. That's 4,000 full boost. It didn't spin. I mean, obviously, I hit a traffic car, but it still didn't want to spin the way it did earlier. So, 4,000 RPM might be this car's happy spot for a launch. Let's try that one more time. Too much. It's going to spin. And... oh, God. That was going to be bad. Let's wait for it. 4,200 might be too much, but let's try it anyway. And go. Dead hooked. Dude, that thing absolutely just hooked and left. Also makes power all the way to the top end, which is awesome. Because if you watch the power and torque on the left, I mean, the torque starts to fall off, but the power just keeps freaking climbing. Now, this car, you can second gear launch it if you want, but even if you launch it at like 6,000 RPMs at full boost, watch, it just bogs. It bogs and slips the hell out of the clutch, which is not fast. All right, let's see. That's 4,300. Holy crap. Will it spin or bog? And go. It spun just a little bit, but the thing is, if you're racing online and you catch any little bit of that spin, you're kind of done, really. There it is. It works really well if you get it right. And again, if you brake boost as well and you're roll racing somebody, you can really surprise them with a turbo car. Because if they're running a supercharged setup or a naturally aspirated setup, which not a lot of people run NA setups in Forza because they're not all that effective. But wow, this thing shoots flames like hell. But they're not all that effective in Forza. But still, if someone's running a supercharged setup and they think they're going to get the jump on you just because you're a turbo, if you brake boost, you've got it. Like, I'm serious. If you brake boost, you can really get the jump on them, and they won't know what hit them. So if you guys enjoyed that mixture of a build overview, tune overview, launch tutorial, and basically rolling boost tutorial, or brake boosting tutorial, then don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comment section below what you guys thought of it, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more. Also, leave your suggestions down below for any cars you'd like me to build, stuff you would like to see on the channel, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.